What's going on, guys and gals? Chris, the Bonafide Hustler, coming to you live from the inside of my office. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Doing this really quick live show today about how to make money on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. I'm going to share with you guys 5 tips in this video. And let me just make sure this is muted. All right, so I'm going to share with you guys 5 tips in this video. That way you can maximize your local reselling kind of game or your tactics. Anyways, I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas, and on a part-time basis, I'm flipping typically used items I find at garage sales, estate sales, yard sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, and sometimes even big box stores. And I'm putting this stuff on Craigslist, eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, my antique booth, and other consignment avenues in town, and Facebook Marketplace. So as of recent, I would say I started messing with Facebook Marketplace back in October of last year. And it's a lot of fun. I think for the past 10 years, I've been doing Craigslist, and that's been a lot of fun too. But maximizing your local game is sometimes a mystery to a lot of people and a lot of resellers out there. And if you're not maximizing your local game, you're missing out on potentially a lot of money. Honestly, if you barely try and you kind of do some of these tips that I'm telling you, you probably crank out maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month just from that avenue. So, or those 2 avenues right there. So probably Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. I really like those 2 avenues the most when it comes to local reselling. So I'm going to discuss with you 5 tips here on this show. I'll answer a couple questions at the very end. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. If you like the content, make sure you're subscribed, hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so you get all the content and you get these live shows when they come up. And then like the video if you like the video. Okay, so I have this stuff in my notes. Actually, I wrote this on a plane. But it's basically 5 ways to maximize your local resale game, right? So number 1, the first tip I want to give you guys is take good picks for eBay, because you're going to be using a lot of times the same exact items that you put on eBay, and I want you to put them locally. Now you might be thinking that's kind of stupid, like da 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 da. You have to pretty much do this in order to see, all right, what sells in your town. It's very important. If I was to just put, let's say, shoes, from eBay and cross-listed over to Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, and just the shoes, thinking like that was the only thing that was going to sell, I would miss out on jackets. I mean, I've sold like so many weird things on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist in this town, and it's because my eBay store has a lot of weird things in it. It has a lot of good items in there too, and I think it's important to cross-list everything at first. That way, you'll kind of figure out like what is really good in your town and what isn't. And so I think you need to do this, and this is my tip. You have to cross-list a lot, and you have to at least do 50 to 100 items, okay? 50 to 100 items so you can gauge, all right, what sells in your town. So important. All right, we got a lot of people tuning in right now. We got Jake, William, Nose Picker, that's a pretty funny name, Marie, Nick, KP, Aaron, Denise, Michelle, Hustle Cachet, and Death Piles. What's up? It's all good to see you guys out here. Thank you for not only supporting my channel, but tuning into this live show. I really want to make you guys some money. So let's listen to these 5 tips. So the first tip was take those same picks for eBay, and you're only allowed 12 picks for eBay. So take really good picks, really good angles, and then when you go to Craigslist, you can do up to 24, and when you go up to Facebook Marketplace, you can only do 10. So you're gonna have to kind of remember all that. Usually when I do cross-listing, I'll open up Safari on my MacBook Pro, and I will put only 3 tabs, all right? 3 tabs up top. It'll usually be Craigslist first, it'll be Facebook Marketplace second, and then it'll be eBay as the 3rd tab. And the 4th might be Google, just in case I have to, proof one couple, like a model number on a boot or something like that. I have to proof one thing before I list it on eBay. I'll have that 4th tab open, but I keep it real simple because you don't want much clutter going on. And when you are dragging and dropping things from site to site or using the same things, basically when I say drag and drop, or copy, drag, drop, you are copying a lot of the same jargon, right? The same titles and all that kind of stuff. You have to adjust a couple when it comes to Craigslist, but for some reason, like the title on Craigslist, you just can't put as much as eBay, eBay's title. And when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, you can put exactly the same title. So copy, paste, boom. Title goes into Facebook Marketplace, copy, paste, boom. That same title goes into Craigslist, but you have to shorten a couple things out. But these are very important things to do. And like I said, in tip number 1, you're gonna have to do this 50 to 100 times to figure out what sells in your town, all right? So I've done this already. I know exactly what pretty much sells in this town, and anything that I'm like, I don't think it's gonna sell in this town, I'm pretty sure now, I can just put that thing straight to eBay, for example. So it saves me time. So, but I had to do that 50 to 100 thing first. So it's really important. Number 2, the second tip I wanna give you guys is when you're meeting up with people off Facebook Marketplace or off of Craigslist, always meet on your schedule, okay? Don't be messing with their schedule unless, all right, unless it's an astronomical flip. Let me give you kind of like what an astronomical flip would be. In a previous video on my channel, I found a $40 bike, and I sold that bike for $250, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, $250. So it was a $40 bike, $250. I had it listed for a week. Actually, no, that one flipped in like 5 days. But anyways, I had it, I had it listed for, I think, 260 or something like that. And then what did I do? Yeah, I had it listed, no bites, right? Not a single bite. And then all of a sudden, this student hits me up and is like, hey, if you can bring the bike to me, which is in central Austin, which essentially with no traffic would be a 15-minute drive for me. So automatically in my head, I'm thinking 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back, hopefully I'll thrift in town when I get down there, kind of thing. That's what's going on in my head. But I'm also thinking like, wow, this is someone that's like wanting to pay asking price. It's the only person that's hit me up in the past, 3 to 4 days. And on the 5th day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make some time for this person. But this second tip basically means always meet on your schedule unless, like I said, unless it comes down to like an astronomical flip where you're like, holy crap, like this is really good money. Can't pass it up. So, go where you need to go and try to go thrift around there as well. That's what I did. So if you're going to meet on your own schedule, these are the places you want to meet, because I know a lot of people ask me this exact same question. Like, okay, I'm kind of creeped out with some of the people that meet, off my town or whatever, and I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm a pretty big guy. Like I'm 6 foot tall, kind of like almost 200 pounds. So I don't think people are going to try to mess with me, but I understand how people can take advantage of other people and how it can be very unsafe, especially if you're a female, to meet with someone in the evening hours or something like that, or even at late night. So, but when someone wants to meet and they want to buy something, you should automatically not always assume that they're going to be bad people. I haven't met any bad people here in Austin, Texas ever, and I've done thousands of like local deals, thousands of them. So, if you're gonna meet, I meet at home for a lot of things. An active parking lot, really important. People like to meet outside of banks because banks are always recording. They have recorders, So banks are a good place to meet at. And then if you're gonna do late night, do it at a gas station or something like that. I would not suggest banks at that point because banks are always dark. But a late night gas station that's very well lit is really good. So bring something to be productive. This is all my notes here. So something to be productive if it's far from your place. So really, really important. Always try to meet close to your place if you can, and have them text you 5 minutes before they arrive at whatever location. So that way you're hopefully still at home and they're like, I'm 5 minutes away from the gas station. Boom, you're about 5 minutes away from the gas station too. As soon as you get the text, you can jet, and it's like your schedule isn't screwed with or anything like that. Now, I have been in scenarios where people aren't on time when I meet away from the house or somewhere, let's say more central in Austin, Texas. And that's fine. But I'm also a content creator, so I do Instagram posts. I do value-driven things, or I'll get in the green room on Facebook and I'll do things in there. But I have a lot of things that I can kill time with, but that's not everyone's situation. But yeah, anyways, that was tip number 2, is always meet on your schedule unless it's an astronomical flip. So really, really important. Good to see everyone here. I hope you guys enjoy the content. I'm trying to give you guys as much power to make some money as possible, because the local game is just really fun. Number 3, and I've said this for the past 14 years, is disclose demand. It's really, really important. All right. So disclose demand. What that means is let them know that there are other people interested. Right. So if you are dealing with an item, okay, and the reason why you want to do disclose demand is you want to shut down the opportunity for someone else to talk your price down. That's the reason why you want to do this. So if you put I'm trying to think of something that I had a lot of people hit me up about. Okay, so like an Oakley bag, for example, it's like the weirdest thing. I find an Oakley bag at a thrift store, I list it, and within like minutes, man, like people are just hitting me up like, oh, you still got the Oakley bag? You still got the Oakley bag? Will you take, will you take this? Which is usually half. They're automatically like just pounding you down with offers. But I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like within a day, there'd been like 10 or 13 inquiries on this one bag. I was like, dude, like it's not even that great of a bag. Like if you hustle bags like I do, like Oakley doesn't make really, really good bags. That's the thing. But they really do well when it comes to advertising, and their glasses are pretty sweet. So people automatically tie all that back to something like a bag, and they're like, oh, it must be amazing, but it really isn't. But since there were all those people interested, I eventually sold the bag, but someone was trying to talk me down, but it was like, he was dead on to meet me. He tried to talk me down. I was like, dude, I have like 10 people interested in this bag, you know? And so as soon as I said that, that shut down every piece of that person talking things down. You also have to keep in mind that when the person makes a commitment, maybe they come from semi far away, 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away, something like that. I've had people come home 3 hours to get something from me, you know? You got to understand that they put in time, right? Their own time. They've used their own gas, and gas is not cheap these days, right? So they have things invested into the item. Like even if you just want to be like, no, I can't do that, and you didn't even disclose demand, there's a really high chance they'll probably still buy it, right? Especially if they're actively touching the item in some way or really interested in the item, right? That's where you know you have kind of like someone biting the bait, right? But if you disclose demand, you know, if you ever feel kind of weary about, oh, this is like the hardest part of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, which is that haggling, and you might hate it. I don't really care about it, but like, you know, people associate local reselling with haggling. Like it has to happen. You should have an amount in your head that you're willing to go down just in case. But for the most part, you should stick close to your guns. And a lot of times I don't get many people talking me down. Like in most cases, I don't. And it's because a lot of times I disclose demand. It's really important. So that's tip number 3. I hope you enjoy it. Tip number 4 is have your stories right when you make. This one's pretty funny. All right. This is you know you're a reseller when you get the haha from what I'm about to tell you. All right. So number 4 is have your stories right whether you make them up or not, about where you got the item, you know, how much you pay for it. Have your stories right whether you make them up or not, which is kind of true. Like someone goes, oh, was this your wife's? And you go, oh, you know, like, yeah, like every time I sell something that's baby related, I always get people asking me crazy questions like, oh, you know, how old was your kid? Like, gosh, like seriously, I hate those questions. But a lot of times I make up stuff. I have to, right? I don't have a kid. So, but I like selling baby stuff. Like it's profitable if you know what to do. So have your stories ready. That's tip number 4. Like think about the story. You're like, all right. You know, like that's what's going to happen. All right, cool. They asked me that. That's the story. That's important to do. While I was actually thinking about number 4, I'm going to give you a bonus tip, but it's not number 5. This is number 4. So if you deal with bikes, all right, if you deal with bikes, it's important that when someone like yesterday sold a bike, I made like $170 on this one bike, right? But it's very important you don't know the height of the person that's going to step out of the car, right? And it's really important to have like a wrench or something in order to drop the seat down. As soon as you see the person come out of the car that you know is going to be buying the bike, or you suspect, you know, gauge them out and go, all right, and then put the seat down to where that thing needs to be. Don't just like give them a bike. Here's the bike, you know, and the seat's like all the way at the top. You want them having a positive experience, like just from second number 1. So that's another kind of pro tip. So, you know, not only should you have your stories ready, you should also have the item ready, depending on like if the person's going to come check it out or not. Like if someone's going to buy like a Xbox 360 steering wheel from you and stuff like that, like try not to have the cables all twisted and all, you know, spider webbed and cobwebbed up. I mean, make them look okay and make it to where the person can make a very fast decision on this product and buy it and get out of your face, basically, right? If you sit there a bunch of time, any time that is not focused on the item in the sale is a lot of times something where someone can find something wrong with the item, talk you down, get into too much conversation, kill your time. So you really want to have stories straight, and you want to have the item really ready for the customer when they come and visit you. All right, number 5, this is the last tip I want to give you guys, and I'll answer a couple questions in the feed, probably 2 or 3. Number 5, tell yourself, oh, I already said this one, tell yourself a maximum amount you'll go down, and have this number ready in your mind. Do not detract from it. So it's really important. So when I was bringing that bike to that lady for $250, and it was like $40 bike, the funny part is, like, I had listed it for $260 and she gave me $250. I didn't realize it till later. I was like, oh man, that sucks, but whatever. But I had this thing in my head, like I would let this thing go for $220, like right now, if the person showed me cash, and I had that number ready. But I had offers from $180, $200 for a $40 bike, you know, and most people might be like, hell yeah, why didn't you take it? It's because I knew the bike was worth some good money. But have a number ready in your head, right? I had $220 in my head when that bike was being ridden around by that girl. I had $220. That was just it. So if she was like, we take 200, I would just be like, I think the lowest I can do is 220. You know, that's just basically it. So it gets really weird when you don't have that number in your head, and then you're like, like, and then it gives a lot of time. There's a lot of time for the person to like try to coerce you, and you know, God forbid the other person's a hustler like I am, because I'll go crazy. Like I just when I get into like I want to get something for a really good deal, like I don't stop. So you don't want that. That's really uncomfortable for the other person. Trust me. So that's your 5 tips right there. I really hope you enjoy it. I'm going to stick around for like 2 or 3 kind of questions here dealing with local reselling. All right. So local reselling, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace. I don't do OfferUp and I don't do Let Go. I don't like the quality of the people from those 2 avenues, and I don't like the quality of the items that I find as well. But I'll source from Craigslist. I'll source from Facebook Marketplace. I'll sell on Craigslist. I will sell from Facebook Marketplace. And I think right now it's one of the greatest opportunities, because there's no returns. It is fun to do. It's basically taking the same listings that are on eBay and the same jargon, and you're just copy pasting it, same pictures. So it takes a little bit of extra time, but for a maximum, I mean, there's a pretty big reward, I think, and that's the reason why you guys need to know about this. Okay, let me answer some questions. Okay. Let's see, questions, here we go. How much would you sell an old Schwinn from 1970 at 10-speed? It really depends. I mean, certain Schwinn's are worth some good money, but a 1970 10-speed, you know, whether it's like a Le Tour or a World Tour, they aren't the greatest bikes, honestly. So most of the times here in this town, a Schwinn 10-speed from the 70s will go, and those are awfully heavy bikes too. I think that one would go for 1 to 150, depending on condition here. But a lot of times they're pretty junked out when you find them. Here's a question from Brian Wiggins. Bonafide, did you say that you sell shoes on Craigslist? I do. I had an offer this morning for 50 bucks on a pair of shoes that I paid 20 bucks for at a thrift store. But that same pair of shoes is on eBay for 120. And I'm pretty sure I'll get an offer for 80 or 100 for those things. So I'm not budging. That's just what it is. Here's a really good comment. VW Matt, what's up, dude? Do you ever do porch pickup and let them drop money in your mailbox? Yeah, I did that a lot in the beginning. I did it, but you know, being an entrepreneur, I'm at home a fair amount of, not a fair amount of the day, but I can be home at any really given time. And when I go sourcing, I typically go source in Central Austin. So that's another, but that's for another video. I have so many other tips I can give you guys. It's crazy. I just wanted to like get it down to a simple 5 right here. And then the other 10, I'll make a guide on it, right? And I'll charge 50 bucks for the guide. I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to give you some more tips on another video. But yeah, I mean, I source in a really good part of town. So anytime I go to that part of town, I make sure to check all my Facebook messages. And I check all my Yahoo messages regarding Craigslist. And I want to see if I can help a deal go down by bringing the item closer, right? So that happens too. You just want to think of it as a business and not so much a hobby. I think that's one of the greatest things I can give you as advice is treat it like a business, not so much a hobby. And then you'll be like, holy crap, like there's a lot of money to be made here, you know? Max Profit just super chatted me $1.99. I love it when people super chat me some money. That's pretty cool. So thank you so much. That's probably going to go to a coffee or something. I really, really appreciate it. So the question from VW Matt, do I ever do porch pickup? I'll do porch pickup if I absolutely have to, but a lot of times I'm around the house. Now, if you're not around the house and you believe in the goodness of people, which I do, I have done so many porch pickups. There's been porch pickups where people I know have like put money under my mat and seen other people's money there as well that I just forgot to pick up from like the day before. I know that has happened. There's been times where I've just been like, oh, I don't even know if there's money under the mat, and I'll just check under the mat and there'll be money under there. So it's kind of funny, but I believe in the goodness of most people, or just about everyone, until someone burns me really bad. But you have to understand, when someone screws you real hard, you can't let one thing be representative of the entire population. So, you know, if I've done 1,000 deals on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and one person screws with me so bad, you know, shame on me for letting that affect the other 999 potential deals that would come in my future, you know, before I find the next weirdo, basically. So you really don't want to empower any of the bad stuff in life, and you want to believe in the goodness of people, because most people are good. Most people are, you know, semi on time. Sometimes they're late, whatever. But with the advent of text messaging, a lot of people keep you in the loop. They're like, oh, I'm 15 minutes late, or traffic is bad. You know, it's like, was that gonna be a big deal? People are good, man. They're just not maybe it's just this town and the water, I don't know, but like people are pretty good in a core level. And when someone's on Craigslist trying to get a deal, I mean, dude, that means that person doesn't want to buy something new. That's respectful. That really is. That means they want their money to go other places, hopefully travel, hopefully their kids, hopefully mortgage on their house or something like that. That extra money goes somewhere else. So I commend people that buy things used, because in a time where Instagram and all this stuff and what you watch on TV shows you like how to keep up with the Joneses and be flashy. When someone buys something used, I think it's great. I think it's an amazing thing. And reusing things that could just end up in a landfill, I think it's great. So, yeah. So Mike Azell says, bro, will you ever do mentoring like Rally Roots? This is a good question. It's not so much like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace oriented, but I'll shed you some light. I have considered doing a Patreon kind of thing where there would be maybe 3 levels of content. So one would just be like, extended video cuts of just maybe the ride-alongs. The other one, stage 2, would be maybe like dialed in, like into the finds that, that I find, that I only give a couple of sentences on the ride along about. Like I would give you way more in depth of why I made the decision to buy that thing, how long I will sit on the item potentially, and what I stand to make on it, and why I got into it in the first place. I think that would be like video, batch number 2. And then the final one would be kind of like a higher priced option where I would form a group behind the scenes of really like diligent people that wanted to up their game. But that level would be, a fair amount of money. I don't know. It's hard to say, because a lot of my efforts right now is going to filming some physical fitness stuff for my other channel. But I would love to help people out. So that's why I try to make some of these videos like this. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I would love to mentor a large group of people. I know that this is coming soon in the future. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, something like that, I'm going to do like hot shots with 4 people. So I'm going to pack my SUV full of people, and we're going to go hot shotting, hopefully on a Wednesday, starting at 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. So it's going to be available at a first come, first serve basis. I'm not going to ask for any money or anything like that. I'm just straight going to film 4 other people and teach them while we are thrifting all together in my SUV. I think it's going to be a great time. I think the dynamic is going to be insane. And I'm going to make sure that video is captured for YouTube so you guys can watch it as well. But if you are in San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, and you have a Wednesday maybe freer, you can cut out at work and come down, go hustling hot shot style, like for free. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. I've thought about doing the first one maybe next week, but watch my videos and I'll let you know. You can learn a lot from the hot shots. The hot shots are one of the places where that's basically where I go to find used goods at thrift stores, typically thrift stores. And there's just these routes that I have in my head. They just work. And so we find things. When my brother goes with me, we find things. If I go by myself, we find things. It's just fun. So yeah. Okay, so let's yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. I didn't want to keep you guys very long, so just remember what those 5 tips are. I got a ton of other tips I can give you. I'm gonna put it into a guide. I'm gonna charge $50 for it. No, I'm gonna really share it to you guys for free and everything like that. It's just this is like almost second nature to me, and I love making videos for you guys. So as much as I wisecrack and act like a dumbass, I really enjoy you guys coming here, spending some time with me. Someone's just super chatted me $5. Let's see who it is real quick before I get out of here. What's up, Deborah Funnel? Thank you so much. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's pretty much the show. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm going to actually talk to you guys tomorrow live, hopefully live, maybe an actual video about my eBay strategy for the rest of the year. So you're going to want to tune into that if it's live. If not, I'll make, just follow my channel, hit the bell next to the subscribe button, because if you're missing some of this content, I'll be dropping some serious banger contents. I always drop good content, but like I'm going to really tune this content to echo with a lot of the beginner and intermediate crowds, so you guys can like hopefully get a gem out of each video and take it to the streets and make some money with it. Like that's my goal. So I'm gonna be dropping some serious tips, not charging a penny for it, and I think you guys are gonna like it a lot. So make sure that little bell next to the little bell, like this is a bell or something, little bell next to the subscribe button is hit. That's so important. because when the live shows come, it's kind of like an edge over everyone else that watches me on YouTube. Sometimes you can sneak that comment in, or you can sneak that question, you can get me live. So that's pretty much it. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I'll see you on the next Bonafide Hustler video. Take it easy.